Yo, what up, Grizz Nation, and welcome back to another Grizz 901, the live postgame show coming to you live from Memphis, Tennessee. We have a lot to get into tonight as the game didn't go exactly how we wanted it to go. The Grizzlies were down the entire game, but they are back, getting closer towards the end of the game, and then it's just all for naught. Like, they were never in this game truly, and they end up losing 133 to 124. But we're going to get into all of that and much more throughout the show. Nate's with me. I am here, and so I'm going to be off the next two shows, Monday and Wednesday. But Nate will be here with whoever he is bringing in. That's on him, but he's going to be able to steer the ship for sure. I know you all missed me. I don't even know what night it was, Wednesday night. But let's go ahead and get the show going so we can bring Nate in. What up, Nate?
No drinks tonight, just Altoids.
I was curious about that. I didn't know what your plan was, but yeah,
The shame is the Grizzlies, none at all. Dude, that sucked.
That did suck. The Grizzlies, they don't look the same against good teams. So, off the top rope, Nate, what does that say to you?
People can be mad at all the people they're always mad at.
Right.
Goon hates Jaren. Half the fan base hates Taylor. Some people hate Ja, which is crazy. Some people are going to say Dez, who was bad tonight.
Yeah.
After he's been good for quite a few games. Bro, Kleiman's got us having wings, like guys out there cosplaying as NBA wings.
Right. That's the truth.
I don't know what you want to say. Like 3 years ago, we didn't have enough shooting. We broke up a core that was winning a bunch of games when Dylan shot us out of games when Ja was hurt. We might have won the series against the people who won the entire NBA championship. You decide to break it up. Okay. What do? You double down on youth. You're too young. Then you say you're too young. Then you get into last year, and besides Marcus Smart, you were still too young. Like, don't get it twisted. You were still too young last year besides Marcus Smart. It just all went to hell in a handbasket because everybody got hurt.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. Then you get into this year, you start out too young. Marcus Smart already isn't working well, but then you go and trade him at the deadline anyways. You get to the deadline, you stay too young, and now you're going to be too young again going to the playoffs. Like, at some point, we talk about it all the time. You just don't have the horses. And normally this year has been one of those, hey, this team is what it is. And you're going to deal with the team being what they're going to be. You just have to deal with it. But nights tonight, like, dude, how in the world do you still not have a single vet wing? How in the world do you still not have a vet big? Because you look at this and you got like Edie coming in, and it's like, sorry, Edie is unplayable.
Right.
Edie's unplayable against these good teams. You can't do it, which is not on him. And it's not on Jalen Wells, and it's not on Vince.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have these guys playing. It shouldn't be the guys that you're relying on. Can't be. You can't be relying on these guys against these really good teams. You can't win when you're starting rookies at the wing, and your wings can't make shots. I hate to break it to you, but I got way more faith in a Scottie Pippen 3 than I do a Luke Kennard 3 right now.
Wow.
Like, listen, Luke went off the other game, but it's one of those things where, like, when Luke's shooting, it's like, okay, when he makes a few, you start feeling really good about it.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm like, listen, Scottie seems to be more solid from 3, and that can't happen.
That shouldn't happen ever.
Do you really think Jalen Wells is going to knock down those shots?
He hasn't.
Vince Williams is going to knock down those shots. Lamar Steve, like, you don't have a defensive stopper at the wing position. And besides Jaron and Brandon, you're working with nothing. Like you're really counting on Santi. Like you're really counting on Santi that like to come back and do something for you. But man, like, bro, again, I don't think there was a move at the deadline you could have made that pushed this team over the top. But how is your roster still in the same conundrum it's always been in? Other than the team where you broke it up with Melt and Kyle. And, I mean, sorry about it, Dylan. Like, it's just really frustrating on nights like tonight when you look at it and you see these teams that have built and built and built and seem to have a plan and have solidified the rosters. And meanwhile, the Grizzlies are sitting in limbo and we keep hearing, hey, we tried. Hey, we tried. Hey, we tried.
Yeah.
Listen, your job at some point isn't to try.
Yeah.
Your job is to succeed. Now, just to put it back on like the bright side of it, if Desmond Bane isn't complete cheeks tonight, that game is in single digits and closer. Like, dude, Desmond Bane alone, and just like bunnies missed by Edie, Vince, Brandon, all had bunnies they missed. That game, they should have easily had 12 points they didn't have tonight. Like, not like, oh man, if this shot falls. Like, no, how did they not make that shot type of shots and free throws? So you're still not as far off as I think the game felt tonight, but there's no missing that you got dominated and you got guys who just aren't ready.
Well, okay, so one, I do love your points. I want to go through them a little bit, and I'd kind of let you go on those. One, my camera is jacked up, like my whole computer system just completely fried itself. Do I look like I'm behind? Like, am I lagging just in my voice? Okay,
look good to me.
All right, good. So it's lagging on my end, which is fine. All right, so let me go through some of your questions because I tried to, either write some down or I tried to just kind of remember some that you were discussing. And so let me go. And I'm going to start with this one first because I think this is the one that I want to ask you. And this is me playing devil's advocate, but I'm asking real questions. Like, in all honesty, I'm asking real questions that I have, but also maybe others might actually have as well. Okay. So let's go through a little bit of them. This first one is, what was the defensive game plan tonight? In your opinion, is that on more of the coaching? Because the defensive game plan is very similar most nights, especially against a good team like this. Like, it's hard to stop everyone. But if you look at just across the board, like, let me get to it real quick. So they shot 50% from the field and they shot 37% from three, 19 of 51. So do you blame anything on the defensive just game plan just overall and how they maybe schemed it up?
What defensive game plan? I don't know, man. They insist on switching everything, which to an extent you can say it's a personnel thing because I don't like, who do you have that's going to guard Darius Garland? Like, the idea was Vince could do that coming into the year, and then Jalen Wells has done a good job all year. But, dude, Vince has no idea what's going on right now.
Yeah.
Like, Ja looks like he's about to kill him half the time.
Yeah.
You know how many times Ja yells a game? I'd say at least 5. 3.5 are at Vince or something. And listen, he's not wrong. So you could say it's personnel. Who do you have that's actually going to stop somebody one-on-one? But at some point, the team's got to also be able to, like, fight over screens and stay on your guy. Like, sorry, if you switch Darius Garland onto Zach Edey, bad things are going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, that's half the reason I'm like, it's not Edey's fault because he keeps getting switched into these situations. Like, you can't put him in that spot. Can't do it. And so, and a lot of bigs can't do that. It's not just Echo. There's a lot of bigs that aren't going to be able to guard Darius Garland on a switch. Now,
I get that, but that's the outlier. Like, I feel like we talk about too much of the outlier BS. Like, I want to get into like the simple facts. Like, some of these guys just aren't as good as we thought they were.
Yeah, but that's not where we're to yet. We're getting there.
Okay,
Trust
well,
me. That's why I started out with saying we got guys cosplaying as NBA wings.
Yeah, and that's the complete truth. Like, there's some of these guys that are not playing well at all right now. And as you're talking about Vince, playing, pretty bad. Like, if you looked at the numbers just before Edey, I'm sorry, not Edey, but Gigi went and played with that lineup he did when they went on a run. It was literally 4 vets. And that's Jaren Bain. They put in Lamar Stevens, which is an older player, and they put Gigi there because Gigi had played 5 minutes in the first half and was a minus 15. Like, I don't even know how that's possible. Like, you 5 minutes and you go minus 15. Like, he literally was not playable. And so I wanted to ask about the scheme or the defensive game plan, because in my opinion, I don't know if it's that. I think it's effort but also I think it's effort. And I think it's IQ on the defensive end. I just don't think the Grizzlies, not saying that the top players, but I think some of the surrounding pieces, they're just too young and they're too dumb at defense. And at that point, that's an issue overall. But I don't want to stay too far on it. I do think there's obviously coaching issues. So don't take it what it's not. There is coaching issues. I just think that the players are young and dumb and they have no idea what to do at this point, and they're just kind of lost. And so it's hard, as you were talking about with the Kleiman stuff. You have a window and then you have all these young players and you can't even facilitate a trade to do anything to make your team better. Yeah. I think that's on Kleiman just overall. But
why is John Collins still in Utah? There's just no reason. There is no reason for that. Who's the person who objectively can help you with matchups like tonight, especially, which are the matchups that matter. So, and I'm not trying to sit there and just like piss all over Kleiman, who I think has done a really good job in a lot of different ways. But the same thing is like at some point the job is to try and to get infatuated with XYZ player and to say we're going to go all in for KD. Like, go get the guy who's sitting there in Utah. They don't want him. They're trying to lose. They're not going to build around John Collins. So it's not just that, right? It's just how is this team where it is? And I also don't want to hate on these young players because they are young. And Vince is coming back from injury. Gigi's coming back from injury. They haven't had time to play with this team. So it's not like something like where they all just suck. But it's just you have these young players, man. And it's always going to be tough with these young players, if not impossible. And it's been year after year after year after year.
Yeah. B. Carter makes a great point. We get it, Kleiman. Like, you can develop players well, but damn, make some moves. Like, that is kind of where we're at. Like, and it's, as you were talking about, it's no fault to the players in all. Like, I think that the Stars, they're having their issues. Okay. And D'Angelo Quinn saying right here, the Stars need to show. I completely agree. Josh turned it on, and we're going to get into a little Grizz trivia, King Meeks, for you. But we're going to get into that, and it's going to be surrounded by, Ja and his play as of late. Ja's playing well. Bane doesn't play well all the time. Bane has struggled to play well when we have the big three, just overall. Jaren has not played great when Ja has been on the court. The big three have not played together just overall because it just hasn't meshed. I don't know, for whatever reason. And then you put in the younger players, they just haven't played well at all either. And so it's just a mismatch, and it's a hodgepodge of talent, in my opinion. So anyway, we'll kind of move past that. But I do think that it's a lot of that you were discussing, and I want to ask a little bit of those questions. But we hit on a lot of stuff that you had, but anything in general within the game that you just saw, you're like, my God, disgusting, should not happen, or anything at all you want to hit on negative? And I want to turn it a little bit of positive, but I do have one more thing. See what you got here.
No, you're just watching these guys not be able to do the job they have to do. There was no one thing that stood out, but it's like, okay, like Wells, I actually think does a pretty consistent job 99 out, but like Vince, you've got to be able to play not solid, great defense. Like that is what got you all the minutes and what people were so hyped up about. It's not happening. Luke cannot miss all those threes, man. It just can't happen, right? And he had the big game last time, right? We dropped 30 ball, was awesome. And he's had quite a few games like that this year, but it's got to be night in and night out, and that's saw someone, who was it? I don't remember. Somebody was talking about him needing to be consistent. I was like, yes, Jesus. Like that's the problem. Like he's got to be consistent. Dez didn't show up tonight, but Dez has shown up most nights lately. Like some nights you just don't have it. Tonight was that night for him. I didn't think he took bad shots or got bad looks. It just wasn't happening. And then Jaren, I mean, I'm not going to hate on Jaren. He looked like a guy coming back from an ankle injury. Like and he played well last time he played against Cleveland. He's played well most of these big matchups this year, it feels like. Maybe gotten some foul trouble, but that's really it. So, there's a lot to take away from it that's good. I think, again, tonight's a lot closer if you just get average performances out of a few guys who didn't give it to you. At the same time, it's no secret that you are more than a good game from Dez, more than a good game from Jaren away from being able to contend at the highest level. You're still too young. Still too young on the wings and at big.
Why do you think that the big three haven't played well together all year consistently?
Need to calm down.
I guess you didn't hear my question. Why do you think the big three? I heard it. Oh, sorry. Why do you think they haven't played well all year?
I'm just calming down. I'm trying to think. It's hard to say. I mean, Ja has been deferential until this latest Jaren injury. So that's a big part of it. Like, Ja Morant was deferring to Jaren after his injuries, things like that. So that's going to be part of that connection. Ja and Dez have played well together. It's that I really couldn't tell you, to be completely honest.
Let's ask a question right here. And Yarka, appreciate you being on Twitter. By all means, stay there if you want to hang out. I promise you there's a lot more of you over here at Bluff City Media over on YouTube. So if you want to come over here and hang out, that I'm telling you, there's going to be a lot more questions that are going through than Twitter. There's never a lot of questions that come through on Twitter. So if you want to hang out over here, by all means. Great question though. Des, John, Jaren, who else could get buckets that you trust? And he is saying like this should be directed at Kleiman because he needs to answer this. Do you think that there was thought that it could be Gigi? Because in all honesty, okay, before the season starts, okay, let's separate the two. Before the season starts, who is a bucket getter besides your big three?
John Collins. Wait, I don't know. Seriously, like you don't have one.
That's the
thought might have been Gigi. That might have been the thought. Because like who else are you thinking is going to be that? Santi. They probably think Santi. If I had to guess. For better or for worse, I think that they think Santi.
Marcus says Luke.
Yeah, but well, I guess it depends on what you mean by going and getting buckets. Because this is like everybody else is somebody who maybe you trust if somebody else facilitates and creates for them. Like that's Luke. Luke was always been somebody created for. I'm thinking like, okay, who else can go and get their own bucket? And it's like Gigi and Santi are the only two things I could viably think of.
But Santi doesn't consistently go and get his own bucket. And I consider it like, hey, off the dribble, if you need to get a bucket off the dribble is the only way. Like if you want to get a pass, swing, catch a ball, any NBA player can do that. I'm talking about be able to take somebody off the dribble, get to a spot and get up a shot.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying he is. I'm saying
correct.
They think he is. Right? That's what I'm saying. That's who they probably thought was.
Honestly, I am not against Santi. And I would honestly prefer Santi over Luke. Luke can do it when there's less. Like Luke is a guy that literally just crawls into the darkness whenever the team is good.
And that's what I don't understand because he plays really well in these spurts and then he just disappears. And I have a hard time telling you why. Like, is it just because when teams are playing defense on a string, like that's what gets them? So against these best teams, that's why it's kind of disappears, or what's the reason for it? It's hard to say. But I mean, he's proven he can, but he can't do it consistently, which is a problem. But it's the same thing. You don't need a bunch of dudes who can go get buckets and create buckets. You just have to have guys who can do their job. It's been the same thing for 2.5 years. Like you just need people who can do their job, and you don't have that, right? You don't need somebody who can go and create off the dribble consistently. You need someone who can knock down a corner three, and then once the defense starts closing out too hard, then maybe they put the ball on the floor, right? But you don't need somebody who can sit there and go create on their own. You don't need to be the Boston Celtics where the entire team can dribble besides Al Horford. Who can dribble, but I'm surprised that man's knees still work. He's been in the league a while.
Yeah, and as Nathan's saying here is like, Luke is getting better at driving. The problem is he is so loose with the ball. Like, he needs to be a pump fake, a little brother to the flyby king, 2 purpose dribbles. And when I say that is, like, I always teach my kids, like, use your dribbles for purpose, such as like get to that spot. And honestly, what's going to happen is you get from anywhere you can probably get to your spot or close enough. 2 dribbles will get you there with most NBA players in general. And honestly, what happens then is somebody has to overreact. And then at that point, it's chaos. You do a little kick, and then somebody else can have an open shot. It has to be more of purpose dribbles. I think it's so much of a whatever happens, it's always like a little hesitation dribble, not sure what we're doing. There's no like urgency and there's no purpose to this offense. It's just kind of like, I don't know where we're going. I'm going to go and I'm just going to kind of jump up in the air and just kick. Like, that's what this offense ends up being. And I don't know if I know it's getting a lot of guys open shots. I get it, but it doesn't seem like it's purposeful, good shots, in rhythm shots. And I've hated the offense. So I'm probably very bitter against it, but I just don't like what it is. I like Ja being Ja, but that isn't the offense. He's turned it into him doing his thing and just creating other people being open.
Well, and that's part of the problem is who's going to knock down those shots when Ja Morant creates it for you.
Yeah.
Which is what you need, right? Because, I mean, that's when you look at what happened in the game tonight. They were 19 for 51 from 3. We were 11 for 36 from 3.
Yeah.
The Grizzlies were 11 for 36 from 3. Dez is 2 for 9. Lamar Stevens 1 for 2. Outshot Luke Kennard, who's 0 for 4. Vince is 1 for 1. Cam Spencer's 1 for 4. Gigi's 0 for 2. Wells is 0 for 1. They made those shots. Now, granted, and to be really clear, the Cavs made everything tonight until the end of the game. Like, they were just making a bunch of shots, right? So part of it is sometimes teams are just going to make all those shots, but you also have faith in them to make shots, and there's too many guys that you don't trust getting those shots.
Yeah.
With the Grizzlies. Dez, we did talk about this a little bit already. He has to be better 100%, but like some nights is just one of those nights. I think he's been pretty consistently good. Like, you would not expect that to happen again tomorrow night. If you got all those same looks tomorrow night, you expect him to drop 20 to 30, right? So, Jaren first came back from injury, and it looked like it. There's a lot of things that worked against Memphis tonight. It felt like a perfect storm of things going wrong for the Grizzlies at certain points. But the point still stands that you can't let this happen again for another season. Like, you just can't let it happen again. Like, you have to have people who are vets that are not going to shrink from the moment, that you can swing it to and you trust to hit the shots. And it's just a problem. But let's get to some of the good.
Real quick, Joseph's asking a question about, what's up with the free throws. BC missed both. Well, let me just tell you, the Grizzlies shot 17 of 21. Joseph, love you, man, but that is not an issue that I'm going to go down. You're talking about 4, you're missing 4 and you hit 17. Like, I'm okay with that. That's going to happen. I'm not saying it wasn't critical, wasn't big, but overall, like, it's not that the free throws weren't the issue tonight. Just overall, you actually shot better than they did. They went 26 of 33, which is a little different. They did shoot a lot more, but overall, that's not what I'm having an issue with. I do want to bring up one more negative thing before we get to the positive things, but this is something that could be positive. Real quick. So if you looked at a lot of what happened down the stretch, what I'm seeing is a lot of stupid basketball. And I hate saying that because it's just low IQ. And what I saw is Ja was moving people and pushing people with his hand, with his motions to get them to the right spot. And so with that, I don't understand why that consistently still happens. But he came down the court once and Gigi came too high and he was like pushing him down into the corner, because what happens is the closer you come up you come up to Ja, that brings your defender with you. And so Ja saw that. And so he's like, hey, push you down all the way to the corner so I have a little bit more room. And what happened is Ja went to go by his guy. Somebody helped over. He kicked, and actually went back to Gigi in that spot for an open three. And another time, he was pushing somebody completely out of the lane because he was trying to get to the front of the rim. And what happened is he got around his guy. The other guy's guy helped, and then he dumped it off. And I think that was to BC. Like, it just doesn't make sense on the spacing. And I don't know if they just don't understand that we're literally like Ja's just going to get by the guy and it's going to create chaos. And I know that's not the offense, but it just doesn't understand why it's so bad. Little things like that. That stuff can't happen. You have to understand your guy's attached to you. You have to move out if Ja's got the ball. So it just doesn't make sense. But overall, it is, as DCC Nashville says, it's low IQ basketball. And that was very telling that he had to do that many times in one game. It was close to the same stuff. So either way.
Guys not on a string it's all the same thing. And it comes back to you got guys who just aren't ready. It's as simple as that. Also, 54 free throws in 48 minutes. Whistle was terrible tonight. Both ways. Like, Grizzlies got every whistle you could possibly want in the first half. Cavs got every whistle you could possibly want in the second half.
Yeah.
The whistle just never stopped. So shout out to the officiating crew tonight. Didn't influence the game. It was just like, hey, we got good teams playing. I'd love to see him shoot more free throws, actually. So let's do that.
We'll never hear shout out to the refs. You didn't suck tonight.
Shout out to the refs. Yeah, we love hearing that whistle blow.
All right, let's go to the positive. Give me a positive. What you got tonight?
John Morant's awesome. There we go. I'll start out with the easy one. Yeah. That's the thing that gives you, like, even on games like this where you felt like you're getting dominated the entire game, gives you hope for the team being able to figure it out. Because if guys can just do their jobs, you've got a dude who can just be the best player on the planet for 48 minutes on a given night. So it's awesome to see. It's just awesome to see him continue to do that. And if this had been a win, this would have felt sort of like the stamp. Hey, we're back. We're here, So he continues to play really, really well. Scottie Pippen continues to be a guy who has to be on the floor, which
I agree.
Just is not what I expected. Halfway through the season. But he seems to make pretty much all the right decisions, as many as anybody else makes. He's consistently hitting shots. He continues to play great defense.
Yeah.
Which at the beginning of the season, he was gambling way too much, and now it's just solid hands. It feels like every time a big or a wing tries to drive on him, he strips that ball. Like, his hands are always in the right place. Pause. But looking really good. Looks like his dad out there defensively, right? He continues to contribute in a ton of ways. BC continues to play really well. Thought Jalen Wells looked much more within himself tonight. I thought there was actually quite a bit of good that was there. It's just the bad just crushed you against that team because they took advantage of every bad thing that you did. But I actually thought there was quite a few good things tonight.
Yeah, there were. If you look at some of the individual players, I think that the numbers say they look good, and I think that they played well. But overall, it was just a bad game in some areas. If I told you that, looking at the minutes tonight, how many minutes do you think Jalen Wells got tonight?
I literally just looked at it and I'm confused.
17. I didn't realize that was 17.
Now that I'm thinking about it, he didn't feel like he was out there at all in the second half. Do we know why?
No.
Did I miss him sucking? Because I thought he was playing pretty well when I was watching him. Did I miss something?
I don't remember him being terrible, but he literally has not shot well in a minute. He did score 7 points, but same thing with Edey. Edey was pretty bad for the most part. It wasn't like god awful, but he just did not play well. Like he was missing so much. Like he was just off on defense. He couldn't even handle Jarrett Allen, which is crazy to me that he can't handle Jarrett Allen. Played 11 minutes, 6 points, 3 rebounds, an assist. Like there was just nothing from him. But Those two guys combined for 28 minutes. Two starters, 28 minutes. Pretty shocking.
Yeah, I am confused about the Wells one. I'm not as confused about the Edey one. And listen, we're not going to trash Zach. I say every time he's developed at such a crazy rate that it's been impressive, but he just can't keep up against the athletic bigs like that, and he keeps getting switched. On a team that is going to be able to shoot like that, and the bigs are quicker than you, he just not going to be able to hold up, right?
No.
So, maybe next year, but not this year.
Yeah, he's definitely hit the rookie wall for sure, and we'll see what that looks like. But you do have Bain, who did not look good. He ended up getting still 26 minutes. Jaren, who's come back from ankle injury, plays 28. Ja, who was the only guy that was doing anything positive on a consistent basis, 35 minutes. But if you look at this, and I know some people are going to be critical of Taylor Jenkins and this because you see all these different minutes. In all honesty, like it was Josh show and everybody else was meh. And if it was me coaching, you kind of have to try some things. Now, in my opinion, I would not go with 11 guys. I wouldn't even go with 10 guys unless I had to. I would go at 9. And I think we've always said that, and I think it's understood. But I don't know, like some of these guys just sucked tonight. And so you kind of have to play a guy and say, hey, are you going to be any good tonight? It does end up making different changes, and it makes different rotations. But we're talking about, like, I don't know what game we are, 42-25. We're so far into the season. These guys have all kind of played together. There's just a lot of guys that are just sucking right now. And so it's hard to play. If one's sucking so bad, you go to the next one and say, hey, can you just not suck tonight and see if that happens? So either way, and I know a lot of these numbers will be thrown off. I see somebody talking about Cam Spencer being plus 15. The very end of the game, the last 5 or 6 minutes, they went on a huge run. Everything will be inflated. That's why Gigi has a positive 1. He was 5 minutes and he was a minus 15 going into that little stretch when he played with the starters, and then he played at the very end of the game. So that's why he looks like that. But in all honesty, these guys just can't suck that bad. And I agree being upset the coach in the rotations. In all honesty, you're trying anything you can at this point just to find somebody who isn't going to be hot garbage.
Yeah, man. Like, and especially we talk about all the time, especially with teams that are young, which we've hit ad nauseum tonight. Like defense, who can defend?
Anybody.
Who's going to defend? And the answer was effing no one tonight was going to defend. Like until they locked in for like 1 or 2 minutes in the third quarter, like nobody defended tonight, So yeah, I'm not mad at Taylor for trying to find something, because I was like, dude, like anything else at certain points. And honestly, not having Santi does hurt you. Like that is a playable wing that can play against this team. Now, I think he's probably getting toasted defensively as well, but yeah, you might not be wrong, but
you might not be wrong, but my God, Brian Conley, aka Brian James, whoever you are, impersonator, I didn't like Marcus Smart as a vet on this team. I just think that he had an issue, and I don't know what it was, but I think he had a big issue.
Yeah. Again, neither one of those guys is changing the outcome for this team this year. The move was not there to change this at the deadline, but the fact that we salary dump Marcus Smart at this point because we're not going to play Marvin Bagley is just sad, just saddening. It's saddening that you got to the point that was a move you decided was the best move, and it might have been right.
I love this. I love this.
He would have lost like 3 fingernails from something. I don't know.
All right. Anything else you want to get into this? I know that we've been, pretty hard on the guys, and we've just kind of been all over the place tonight. But
I don't think we've been crazy hard on them.
No, I think we've been honest, and I think that's okay. I'm just saying in general, like it's been a very negative show, which is fine. Like that's going to happen. But overall, you do have to look at these and say, hey, like some of these guys just aren't playing well, and that happens. But a guy who consistently plays well, Nate, Titan MVP.
I knew it. The real MVP.
The real MVP. If you want to jump up to the front of the line, do this. Follow Titan MVPs. His leadership, as she's showing here. But guys, not even math rotations. At what point do we guard the 3-pointer? Quick question. This is going to you, Mr. Taylor Jenkins. So I need you to give me your best Taylor Jenkins answer. Is this about scouting or bad adjustments, Taylor?
Hold on.
All right, let me set you up.
I need you to ask the question again. Mr. Reporter, ask the question again.
Hey, this is channel 74 to WWMC TV 77. I do have a question here, Taylor. I'm not even mad at your rotations, but at what point do we guard the 3-point line? Is that just bad scouting from your team and your scout? Or is it just bad adjustments on your part?
Yeah. You know, I mean, the guys, that falls on us as a coaching staff. Got to play better, got to coach better. We got to be able to get to our rotations. You know, we got to quit overhelping on some of these. You know, we've got to be able to stick to our game plan, and we got away from that tonight definitely a little bit. But you know, I thought the guys played really hard. I thought we found some fight in the third quarter, and you know, that's a real positive to take away from this. But you got to do it for a full 48 minutes, and we clearly didn't do that tonight. And you know, at some point, you got to give credit to the Cavs. They hit a lot of tough shots tonight, and you know, they seem to always find the open man. And when they needed a big shot, they made it. And we got a big shot, we missed it. And you know, make or miss league. Sometimes that's going to happen. But all in all, you know, we're going to get back, go to the drawing board. We'll get back to the film room. We'll make some adjustments. We'll see what we did wrong, and you know, we'll grow from here.
Hello, TJ.
Right. Thank you.
This is Jerry from WMC 44. To follow up on that question, we were talking about the 3-point line. I'm not sure if you heard the question. He was asking, is it scouting or is it the bad adjustments? I don't think you answered either of the questions.
Yeah, you know, I'd say probably a little bit of both. And, you know, that's what I was talking to when I said it's a little bit on the coaches, a little bit on the players. But ultimately, it does fall on me as a coach. I've got to get our guys in a better position to be able to play. But, you know, at some point, you know, we try to make some adjustments there in third quarter. You know, we were switching everything. We had to take Zach out. You know, we tried to go small to make that adjustment. But, you know, it just didn't pan out tonight. You know, we some guys got to be able to figure it out a little bit. You know, you got to be able to stick to your individual assignments, but our adjustment simply didn't work. Sometimes that happens tonight or in these games, and tonight that was one of those nights. So I'd say a little bit of both. I think the scouting team did a really good job, but clearly we didn't adjust well enough in the game. But we're gonna, you know, go see some film. We're gonna go watch the game, and we'll be there from here.
That was actually pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah, that was fantastic, actually. Insane. Listen, I do know people love to make fun of Taylor in the press conferences, so that was a lot of fun. But I think coach speak is there because you're like, I'm not going to tell you anything that you can use as a sound bite. So I don't get as mad at the coach speak, but man, Daniel does some coach speak, or TJ does some coach speak.
You forgot to let it fly.
No, we're talking about the other team, so we're not going to give them that.
Yeah.
We're not going to give them that.
Yeah. All right. So definitely, I have to give you credit on that. You did sound like him. Everybody loved that. So that might be something we kind of play with every now and then. But look at this. Look, Titan MVP, you are the man. Always good. Thank you all for dabbling into a little bit of our fun and enjoying that with us. So let's actually take a hard left and let's go ahead and hit on a little bit of King Meeks. Always your number one right here. All right, let's go to Grizz Trivia. All right, King Migs, this one's for you, buddy. All right, let's get to a little bit of the question here, and it's all about Ja Morant. So, Grizz Trivia, Ja Morant has scored 40-plus points 9 different times in his career. What is the Grizzlies' record when Ja scores 40 or more?
I know at least between tonight and one against the Spurs, there's at least 2.
If you have a question, I can answer your question. I'm going to put it back up here for everybody to be able to see, so they'll be able to understand it.
I'm going to go with 6 and 3. I know there's at least 2 losses because you had the season opener's second year against the Spurs and tonight. But I can't remember the other ones.
I'm gonna look through these real quick. So we have some answers. So D'Angelo Quinn is not exactly excited. He's going 4 or 5. And this is Mixed Trivia. Lauren's a little positive, 6 and 3, like you. Smooth Southpaw. Art is the most positive of 7 and 2. Just some guy from Cleveland. I hope you're a Cleveland Cavs fan, because if not, I think you got lost. You picked the wrong team this at least tonight. Brian Conley, aka Brian James, 6'3" or 5'4". Very close, 5'4", 6'2". All right, so your final answer.
6 and 3. 6 and 2 is not possible. 6, 2, and 1. We're going 6 and 3. It's the final answer.
The answer is 5 and 4. You were close.
That was close.
So the Grizzlies. So when he scored his most points, let me I guess break this down completely. So he scored a game of 52, 49, and 46. All wins, Spurs, Rockets, and the Bulls. Could you tell me what year those were in?
Okay, say it again.
He scored games of 52, 49, and 46. All wins, the highest he's ever scored. 2 of those are on the road. One of them is at home. The highest game he's ever scored. Actually went to that game against the Spurs. But he had 52 points, 49 points, and 46 points. All 3 wins. Could you tell me what year that was in?
Last year was 23-24. So 22-23 was the Spurs one. That'd be all of them. All of them were 22-23, right? Or was one 21-22?
2 were 21-22.
Oh, 2 were 21-22.
One was 22-23.
Okay.
So these came within days of each other. The 52 was on the 28th of February. 46 was on the 26th of February. Like, my God, like 2 days apart, putting up a 46 and a 52 was incredible. And then he goes to the October 21st, which has to be one of the first nights because the season starts roughly around the 18th, 19th, maybe the 21st. I don't know. That might have been opening night where he goes for 49. And thank you, just some guy from Cleveland. We appreciate you. Come hang out anytime you want. The Grizzlies suck right now, man. So you can gloat if you'd love to.
Hurt our feelings tonight, but that's okay.
Yeah, don't hurt our feelings too bad. But if you look at these other ones, 2/16/22, 10 days prior to the 46, he had a 44. A month prior to that, he had a 41-pointer. All of these, his top scoring games are all from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the 9 were all from the 21-22 season. A lot of you were saying that in the 22. Like those were all people forget how good Ja was before he had the gun issue, acting like a complete idiot issue, then had the injury issue, and he's finally getting closer to himself. I don't know if it's going to correlate with winning, but in all honesty, like 2 years ago seems like forever ago at this point.
Seems like more than forever ago. How about this offseason we just go get Kyle Anderson and DeAnthony Melton back, and then we go from there. Let's just do that. I want to go. Take me back. Take me back.
Take me back.
Kyle Anderson hits threes now. I've seen it.
No, he does not.
Yeah, dude. I've seen it. I've seen it.
Wow. All right. So was that shocking? It was shocking to me because I looked at it and I'm like, how are we only 5 and 4? It just doesn't make sense how when your best player scores 40 plus and you go 5 and 4, it just doesn't make sense.
Nobody else is doing anything in those games. That's going to be the issue most of the time.
Yep. So it doesn't always contribute to winning. Having a close to 500 doesn't make sense. But Lauren's asking, what happened to what's DeAnthony Melton doing now? DeAnthony Melton tore his ACL, and so he was playing for the Warriors. The Warriors used his contract. You're about to see a cat in a second, but the Warriors used his contract and sent it out to the Nets, I believe, and switched him, and so and kind of got rid of him for that. So that's the crazy part. So. God, this cat's going crazy back behind me. Y'all can't see it. King Meeks, maybe we'll put her on the screen in a second. She's trying to eat a softball, and she's literally the same size as a softball. Maybe I can show you.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not a cat guy. Cannot relate. I don't really want to see your cat.
Can't get her.
That sounds sexual.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. All right. All right. Let's go ahead and dude, Titan MVP is like just loading it up tonight. All right. Do you want to save this answer for later? But looking for final games, do you think we finish number 2 in the West? I think this.
Maybe.
Dude, there's not a maybe. Answer the damn question.
Stop, Dad. Okay, chill out. Cool your tits, Becca. Name that movie. Yeah, no.
I am not a movie nerd.
Somebody in the chat, name that movie. All right. You got Heat, Kings, Blazers. I think we'd be upset if they didn't win all those games. Clippers, man. Jazz. Should I go to that Jazz game? Is that going to be bad luck? Just kidding. I'm going because I'm not paying for Jazz Plus to watch it. So yeah, I'll go to that game.
It will probably honestly cost you the exact same amount.
It's close. It's close. And then April, Warriors, Heat, Pistons, Hornets.
Dude, it's not about the Grizzlies, in my opinion.
That's sort of what I'm looking at because you are back to the 4 seed tonight. I'm gonna say probably not. I think no. I think you end up probably as the 4.
Sheesh.
What, dude? They're a game apart max from 2 to 5.
I get it, but my God, like they've been playing somewhat good basketball.
Yeah, but you lose the tiebreaker to the Lakers, and I think Denver probably wins as many games as you.
Houston is on a 5-game win streak.
So
all right, so I got a question. All right, let's go through this, and we're gonna roll this one. Brian Conley's great idea here. Hit the like button for the algorithm. I promise you. Do me a favor. Why no, you're funny. Hit the like button like it's Jenkins. If just 7 of you hits the like button within a certain amount of time, I think it's like 30 to 40 seconds. It literally jumps in the algorithm for everybody else, and so I promise you, why I don't know. It's a stupid algorithm, but it does work. So if it just at least 7 of you hits the like button at one point, it does jump in the algorithm. But I'm going to go back to this question because I think it is very good. All right, so let's look through this real quick, and let's set up playoffs, right? Playoffs. Set up playoffs real quick. So OKC's 1 no matter what. I think Denver's going to be 2 no matter what. I think Denver is the 2 seed because they want to get playing a little bit better than they have been, and I think they have all the best potential to get there, especially with a guy that is Jokic. So anyway, so let's go through that real quick. So you have Denver sitting there, who I think has the best potential to get that 2 seed. So then you have 3, 4, and 5. All within a half a game from each other. Mm-hmm. What spot would you want to be in? Because Golden State's going to be in the 6th spot. I don't see how in the world they do not allow that they would allow that Minnesota could come back and get them. I don't think that happens. And so at that point, the 6th seed. Who do you play if you're the 6? The 3.
If you're the 3?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, sorry, I didn't know what you're asking. Yeah.
If you're the 6, you play the 3. If you're the 5, you play the 4. If Denver's going to be 2 and OKC is going to be 1, that puts you in 3 or 4. And that means you have to play, more than likely, the Lakers or Golden State.
Yeah. I think Houston could be in that 5 seed. You're tied with Houston right now.
Right, but we're talking about LeBron James, who might honestly be hurt, or and him not wanting to push it too hard down the stretch.
Nah, we'll see. I think Houston. I think Houston or Memphis probably ends up 4 or 5. I think it's probably going to be Memphis and Houston in that 4 or 5 when it's all said and done. Only thing is the Lakers might want to stay 4 or 5, so they don't have to play the Warriors in the first round, right? Let's be honest. If you're the Lakers, you'd rather play the Rockets or the Grizzlies than the Warriors in the first
100%.
round. It's currently constructed. So, and all that jockeying definitely happens right now.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
it's really hard to say because you never know what's going to happen injury wise. Who's going to hit the unexpected slide? Who's going to hit the unexpected win streak? But if I had to guess, I think Grizzlies probably end up right at 4.
Yeah, for sure. And even our things that the Warriors could jump up to 5. Listen, if they can jump up to 5, they can jump up to damn near 3 at this point. Like it's crazy.
Yeah,
like
up to 2.
Because possibly 2, but it just depends on what Denver does. But you're talking about 2, 3, 4, all right there together. 5 is right there with them, and so there's a lot that could easily happen. The Grizzlies could easily get the 2 seed. But they'd have to string a lot of wins together, and they'd have to figure some things out. But I'm not sure it actually could happen.
What if? Hold on, let me double check this because I think this is correct.
A little Steiner math going on over here.
Correct.
We got a 66 and a third.
Oh, that game's already over. So
33 and a third chance if we win.
No, I was gonna say because I knew the Wolves were gonna win tonight, but they already did win, so it's already in there. Because the Wolves are a win away from passing the Warriors and end up in 6th.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, do you want to be the 3 seed? Probably.
Yeah. I don't know.
It could fall so many different ways. It's so close.
Ooh. All right. Do not listen. Do not try this at home.
I'm not doing this. I'm not answering this question. Sorry, Wayno.
Do we make it out of the first round?
Not answering. I'm not going to answer this question. I plead the 5th. Not answering this question.
You know what? I would have to. I'd have to honestly just take. I'd have to look at the matchup, in all honesty. But with the West, the Grizzlies can beat any team. The problem is, do they lock in on defense? So we'll see.
The answer is, can they lock in on defense?
That's the thing.
Not do they. Can they?
Art says maybe. No doubt. It's definitely a maybe. But you're telling me there's a chance.
Yeah. Super slight chance.
So we'll move past that. Let's go ahead and wrap it. Let's put a bow on all this, and let's take a look to the future a little bit and look at the Heat tomorrow. Obviously, there's so much that's going on with that game, whether it be in Tony Allen's retirement, which is awesome. It's going to be a awesome time to be there. We're going to have a lot of people there with the Bluff City Media that will be there. We were not doing a post game show. Thankfully, we would not have unless we were doing it live together as a watch along. There's no way that we're going to do that. People enjoy it in all honesty. But Goon the Shooter, we do agree that he is definitely one of the best, especially meaning what he means to the city of Memphis, what he means to the franchise. It goes by far. If you haven't watched the documentary for Tony Allen, go ahead and do it. It'll make you feel some nostalgia for sure. But looking ahead to the Heat now, the Heat have lost, I believe it's 6 games in a row. They are struggling now.
Tonight,
a get right game could be against the Grizzlies, but now that you're looking at they definitely struggle tonight. But you're talking about Miami is, where is it? 6-game losing streak. So
without looking, what do you think that line is?
home,
nice one,
back to back. Yeah, I killed that stream last night. That's my line. I would say home 9.5.
You went way higher than I thought. 7.5.
7.5.
7.5.
Well, you take the 3, which is a home. You take that. They're on a 6-game losing streak. You have a loss. There's no travel. That's another 3 for sure. So that's why I'm easily at 6. And so I just thought that they have maybe the Heat are just done. But we'll see.
I think we get a good performance from the Grizz tomorrow night.
Question.
Hmm?
Question.
Answer.
Does Jaren play tomorrow night?
I think so. I think so because tonight was so rough. He only missed 5 games. Even if they play him limited minutes, they want him to get to his games. So I think he probably plays. And it's a special game. I think if they were only going to play him on one game, it was probably going to be tomorrow night. So I think he does.
Me and Art agree. I don't think so. I don't think so.
We'll see.
I think this front office is stuck in mud to the point of they're going to say we're not going to allow it. And whether one thing or another, in my opinion, they're better right now when the big 3 doesn't play together. I'm telling you, that's just how it is. They have to work out the kinks. They only have we have 15 games, 14 games left. Like, we don't have many games left. They're going to figure it out. And so at this point, if it was me, I would push as long as there's no swelling, there's no travel, which if anybody doesn't understand, getting on a plane and going city to city back to back or with travel to the next game, your ankles and your injuries are going to flare up. They're going to swell. There's no travel today. And so that's the only way I would play him, is because there is no travel. That I'm fine with that. But in my opinion, I would try to get him 24 minutes. Dude. That's where I would be at. I'd play him 6 minutes. I'd start him this first 6, and I'd play him the second 6 in the second quarter. And then you just go that way. And then depending on how the game plays out, maybe you go up to 28 minutes if you want to end the game the last 4 with him. But I would definitely play in the first 6 minutes of every quarter.
I forgot those injury flights are not fun. Those injury flights hit about the same way that Ja and Jaren questionable is going to hit tomorrow, which is like a colonoscopy on a Tuesday. Just not going to be a fun time. But I was trying to like what hits the opposite of a crack, and I was like, oh yeah, that would suck. But I think he plays. I hope he plays. I hope he does. I hope to God he does.
Wow. Well, the Grizzlies now 5-5 in the last 10. Their record 42-25 on the season. I feel good about where they're at, but not for the playoffs. Like in the regular season, I feel good where that is. It doesn't matter to that in general. But I'm just curious what happens moving forward. Like, can they figure it out? I think that's where all the fan base is. And I think that's where we all are, is, can they actually figure it out? And so there's a lot left to be desired. And this schedule does not get any easier. My God. Like, it just, the simple fact that just coming up next, reading off the games, they had Saturday, they had the Heat, and that's on the back-to-back. And then they have to go on a road trip, which I don't have to do the games. 9:00 start for the Kings, 9:00 start Wednesday for the Trailblazers, but then there's a Friday 9:30 start for the Clippers next week. So there's 3 games, 4-game road trip that you're about to go to the West Coast. All winnable games. Kings are fighting hard. Sabonis dominates the Grizzlies. That's all right. Trailblazers have been playing pretty well. Clippers have always played well against you. I'm sorry, the Clippers are at home. Yeah, I'm sorry, still on the road. And then the Jazz.
Go Grizz.
So anyway,
go Grizz. Listen,
Cool.
the one thing I will disagree with that we said at the very beginning of the show is I don't think that these dudes all just suck. I think they just aren't ready, but the talent is there. So, I mean, and listen, it's the same thing. Like, what are you going to do? Like, you can just be pissy and mopey about it, which you do get to be after games like this for at least a minute. But also, it's like, okay, what are we going to do? Like, there's always a chance something clicks over the last few weeks of the season, however unlikely. So, and if it does, and Vince looks like he did last year, where he is like an absolute menace on defense, he's a lot more confident and honestly just got some more nasty in him all around. Wells starts knocking down shots again. Gigi, somebody comes into form. Santi gets healthy. You know, you never know what's going to happen. And the good news is Jaren's been awesome all season. Dez has been much more consistent lately, and Ja Morant looks like Ja Morant again. So,
how do they get
I'm
there?
I'm not going to sit there and be pissy going into that, huh?
How do they get there though? Like, because I'm with Joseph right here. The team is in the mud. Like, how do you think that they can get a guy like Gigi, to bounce, and also Vince to try to find their spot on this team? What do you think it's going to take?
Prayer and snow globes.
Well, I was trying to look at something real quick and see how many we had, and how many games we have left. All right, so this is how many shows we have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 shows left for the season. We're getting down to the crunch. And Art, I'd agree. It is more mental than everything else. I think this team is fighting a mental battle. If they can get past the mental battle, I think that they'll figure it together. But the problem is that they're struggling right now.
Well, they haven't had a full season with the guys they needed to have a full season with. Yeah. Like, it's clearly hurt Gigi. It's clearly hurt Vince. Now Santi's been out for a pretty extended period of time. Like, it makes it really, really hard to click. But stranger things have happened for sure. The Pacers made the Eastern Conference Finals last year. So, stranger things have happened. So it could. Listen, we have seen Vince be a defensive menace. We've seen Gigi be an absolute maniacal scorer. That one's a lot harder to see coming together this year than the Vince thing, but still,
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, I hope everybody's play the game. I hope everybody's enjoying a little bit of March Madness. It's been a lot of fun. If you're not watching college basketball, man, enjoy it. I promise you, it is so much fun right now. I'm having a blast watching everything I can right now. It's been so much fun. Lauren, I'm not going to bring it up because we're not going to go into it. We're too far into the show. But I'm curious what this looks like. We're looking at a rest of the season that's going to be a stretch run. There's also so much good basketball right now. Lakers and Nuggets, 7 minutes to go in the game. They're both at 105. They're playing well, and you're going against a Kings team soon that is down 69-76 against the Suns. Like, there's going to be a lot of the season that comes down to the wire that you're going to have to fight through. And so we'll see just overall kind of what direction this team ends up being. We want this team to kind of come together, but it's taking time. So we will see.
Purdue got donged today. Golly.
Purdue isn't good. They're not good.
Sorry, Greer.
Smooth Southpaw says sucks to be Duke fan now with Flag hurt. I think Flag will be all right.
What about the ending to that game today?
Oh my God. Do you know that so if anybody didn't realize this, so Duke, North Carolina fights back. They get down to the very end. And I think the guy got fouled. They were down by 1. Guy gets fouled. He goes, shoots the first free throw, misses. So now they're down 1 with still another free throw to go. 5th-year senior steps on the line for whatever reason, whether he was trying to draw him off, steps on the line, wipes out the free throw. The guy actually made that free throw and ended up Duke pulled that game out. So nuts, man. I hate it for a 5th-year senior because in all honesty. Like, he's got to live with that. Like, he's probably not good enough to go play in the league. So he might go overseas and play, but like, he's going to live with that. Last game of his career for sure. So
educate me on college basketball. Do they just blow the whistle as soon as you step in there? Because I watched it happen and I was like, he stepped in, but then he stepped back out, but then they blew the whistle. Is that like different in college than is the NBA?
All right. So the reason you're upset about that is because there's a lot of body contact in the college game. Why? Because they try to get in front of you. That's the issue. Like the NBA, if you get by them, they're going to just let you go. In college, if they can kind of get even with you, they're going to try to slip in front because they're still young and they still care, especially in games like this. So they're trying to get to that spot. The problem is, a lot of them are just too slow because there's freak athletes on the court, and I think that's why you're seeing so much body whistle. That's the only reason. So I know you've always complained about. There's a lot of body whistle that they have.
Oh no, college refs make Mark Davis look like Hawkeye. They're awful. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the lane violation. Like, is the lane violation different in college where like you step in and they blow the whistle? Yeah. I saw the replay and I was like, he got back out.
No, it's all about you can't step on the line. And he even went to the other guy's little box.
Well, I've seen in the NBA guys like step in and all 6 guys step in and they get back out and they just let them shoot the free throw. But so I don't know a college game. So I was wondering if it's different in college where if you step in, it's like
high school. If you step on the line, once the shooter has the ball, if you step on the line, then it's a penalty.
That's another stupid rule.
All right, that's all we got. We do have some. We have games coming up. There's going to be a lot of games that are not on the weekend, except for this weekend when they play tomorrow. They play against the Heat, but overall, we're definitely going to have a lot of games to do down the stretch run. I will not be here for the Monday Wednesday game. I will not come into the chat. I will not come onto the show and change your view. I will not close out the show early.
Why not?
Scouts. How many do you hold for Scouts Honor? 3 Scouts Honor.
One a scout.
Yeah, one either. You were probably a brownie. All right, that's all we got on the show tonight. Everything's been great. We appreciate you all hanging out with us. Grizzlies do lose. It was 133 to 124 to the Cleveland Cavaliers, but another good game-ish. Great show, though. Very proud of you. We'll see you all. We'll see you all Monday night. Make sure you hang out with us. Who are you bringing on Monday? Do you know yet?
That's a secret to me.
Ooh, secrets.
Secret I don't know the answer to.
All right, we'll see you all Monday night. Be nice and tell your friends.